Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Edith Davis, and I am the PI, as they would say, in the National Science Foundation program, principal investigator for our proposal for total care for women, mental and physical health. And we are having a group of the key, I guess you would say, directors or facilitators of the various nodes in our program for mental and physical health are here today, and they're going to all introduce themselves to you. And then we're going to have a discussion, a brief discussion about why we think the total care program will meet the needs of women across our cities, our nations, our world. Okay? So I'll go ahead and go last and talk about my background, but I want to start with Dr. Fields. And Dr. Fields, would you tell everyone about your background, and then we'll address everybody's background, then we'll all merge and talk about our impact for this total care program.
Hello, I am Dr. Anika Fields. I am a clinical psychologist. I've been licensed as a psychologist for over 30 years in Florida. I am currently the director of Florida A&M University Counseling Services. Previously, I was a director at Florida State University for 13 years and also Tallahassee State College for 2 years. I have also worked with students in terms of teaching graduate courses and undergraduate courses in psychology. I have also previously, before coming to Florida State University, I worked at Tampa General Hospital in pain management and combined pain management, the physical part with the mental part in terms of helping people to relieve pain. I currently work with students who are having mental health issues and also academic problems. And what I do is to try to find out what mentally is going on that's hindering them in terms of their academic progress and work with them on that. I see students who have anxiety, severe anxiety, depression. Some have been suicidal. A lot of them have had to be hospitalized. And I teach them through the psychological spectrum to deal with those anxieties by certain techniques, to talk about those anxieties, to talk about the depression, and to try to see what can be done with those to alleviate it, at least enough for them to be able to accomplish their goals in college.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fields. Now we have Dr. Amy Johnson. And Dr. Johnson, would you tell everyone about your background?
Hi, my name is Dr. Amy Johnson. I am a doctorally prepared nurse. I've been a nurse for 30 plus years, and I have a wide variety of historical things I've done. I've been a bedside nurse. I have been a chief nursing officer. I have also been a consultant, a healthcare consultant. Currently, I am in education as well as in the community. I just recently finished up phase 1 of a project that looks at a mobile nurse-led unit that looked at promoting health outcomes, targeting women, actually, of middle age to the elderly for health outcomes, and specifically was looking at those women that have been diagnosed with diabetes, hypertension, and congestive heart failure. The phase of that project has been completed, and I'm looking to move into the second phase of the project that would help go into the communities, even more underserved communities, communities that did not have access to healthcare providers. The phase of the project that was completed looked at education and accountability weekly that delve into lifestyle habits, that delve into medication management, that delve into changes in eating, changes in exercises. And there in the study, it was very positive in changing the diabetic regimen and the diabetic outcome. So I'm looking forward to moving into the second phase of this project.
Very good. And now we have Dr. Donna Austin. Dr. Austin, talk about your background, and then I'll talk a little bit about mine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donna Austin, and I am a retired school counselor. I've had the honor and privilege to work with students and families and educators from pre-K through 12th grade. Presently, I am the CEO of Qua Inc. Qua Inc. focuses on educating families and educators and students and business people of how to come together collectively to address all of the mounting concerns that affect family life as well as affecting student performance in school. We pride ourselves on building relationships. We build relationships with community partners such as Goodwill and the North Florida health people, so many various organizations that we're working with so that we can build this coalition of people to address all the mounting concerns that people have that are affecting them. Our primary focus is on students and families that are in the impoverished communities because we know that poverty really bring about a lot of health issues as well as mental issues. So we've been very successful in building these coalitions, as well as we've been very successful in helping our teenagers, our elderly people understand how life impacts them, because many times people do not understand how poverty really does have a very negative impact on how people perform and move through life successfully.
Yes. Now, my mother is here, Esther Williams, and Mama, you could just say a few words if you want, or you don't have to say anything, but my mother was a nurse for many years and basically took care of us. Then she went on to get her bachelor's and her master's in education, and then eventually she went to University of Boston to work on her doctorate and in science, education, and mathematics. So my mother is an educator and a former nurse. You want to say hello, Ma? Esther Williams?
Well, you said most of it. So, but anyway, I enjoyed my double education. Had a degree in nursing, like she said, and degree in teaching, as she said, and then degree in tapping her legs.
And my mother was she finished up the latter part of her career as a teacher in Mannheim, Germany for the Department of Defense. She taught the military children. So let's talk about my background. So I'm Dr. Edith Gail Davis, and I have went to the University of Miami undergraduate, got my bachelor's in science education as a geologist and with a minor in mathematics. Then went on to Stanford University, where I got my master's in geophysics. Then I went into the world and worked and dealt with reality, and ended up getting an MBA, a master's in business administration, emphasis in management and marketing. But my terminal degree was at Baylor University, where I got my doctorate in curriculum instruction, science education, and research. And I spent the rest of my life studying and trying to understand and how to transfer knowledge, how to get people to learn and to understand and to apply what they learn. So there's a program that I was downloaded to me during my dissertation called the Microspiral Methodology, and I've won a few National Science Foundation grants. And my last grant actually put together a coalition of historically Black colleges, Hispanic universities, as well as American Indians, which was to be quite honest, that was a tough group to break into because they're so cloistered and careful because they've been used and abused for so many years. So I was able to gain their trust, and so we also have a coalition of American Indians. On one of the major projects with the National Science Foundation, we actually put together a map where we tapped into all the historical Black colleges across the United States of America, all the Hispanic universities across the United States of America, as well as American Indian tribal and Alaska, the people, Native people, indigenous people in Alaska. So we have these networks that we have established across the nation. The other part of my background is that for over a decade, I've been the national chairperson for science education for the Association of Teacher Educators, and it is an organization that's been around for over 100 years. And we have a network of I call it the headwaters, the teachers that teach the teachers. So we are actually the professors that teach future teachers and people that impact our communities. So I've been a national chairperson for that for over a decade, and so we have a network. Also, we have a network with people in the United Nations, and we are looking at, in the case of Amy's part in it, we're looking at the model of Doctors Beyond the Borders. And so that's kind of what we're seeing on the physical health portion of it. And also we see with the total care proposal, we see that these relationships, these nodes, these groups have access to the women. And we're looking at targeting middle school girls to the elderly. And the reason why we say middle school girls is because in some nations, middle school girls are considered women and considered preparing to have families. So we have to look beyond our culture and our country, and that's kind of where we are. We also have Dr. Caroline Leaf, who her life's work is about the brain, the mind, and the body, and had sat on some mental health coalitions.
Hi, I'm Dr. Caroline Leaf. I'm a cognitive and clinical neuroscientist and a communication pathologist and audiologist. I've spent the past 38 years of my career studying the mind-brain-body connection, specifically psychoneurobiology. I've specialized in people with traumatic brain injuries, learning disabilities, neurological issues, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, emotional trauma, and so on. I've practiced for 25 years. I've been running research and clinical teams for research for the last 30, 40 years. I publish in scientific journals. I've written 19 books in 24 languages, helping people to manage their mind of all age groups, helping women and men, and specifically helping women to manage their mental health in terms of mind management. My work is based on the science of thought, so how thoughts form in response to the experiences of life, how these thoughts are processed by the mind into the brain and the body, and how these can become habits and drive how we function. So from my scientific research, I'm able to help people to identify the signals and signs of mental health challenges, trace this back to the thought that is the issue, the underlying cause, deconstruct that and reconstruct that, and therefore rewire the mind-brain-body network. Because you can't change what's happened to you, but you can change how it plays out into your future. So this is mind management and helps people to manage their mental health.
So we also have Dr. Mary Ritz, who will give us the global component of impact and scalability of this particular project. Dr. Mary Ritz is from South Africa, now Zimbabwe. And she also has strong relations in Africa and throughout the world, really.
About 66 million women in Africa face health challenges that include depression and anxiety disorders. About 1 out of 5 women in the United States of America also struggle with mental health challenges such as depression, post-traumatic disorders, and eating disorders. Generally speaking, women across the world face challenges throughout their lives. For an example, middle-aged girls struggle with self-esteem issues, depression, and really exacerbated by social media and peer pressure. The working woman struggles balancing career and caregiving responsibilities, therefore sacrificing their overall well-being. The elderly woman suffers from reduced mobility, loneliness, and limited access to care. In Zimbabwe, the southern part of Africa where I grew up, I saw this firsthand. I saw women suffering in silence because if they dared to mention that they had mental health issues, they were going to be treated as an outcast. It was a taboo to utter such. We didn't even have a language to describe mental health issues. Hello, my name is Dr. Mary Ritz. I'm the president of Aumenta International, a professional and consulting organization based in Atlanta, Georgia. My focus is really helping people with customer centricity, human-centric leadership development, training and development in different areas. The skills that I've gained over the last 18 years of doing this work have empowered me to customize my programs according to the needs of the target audience. I've been able to deliver programs that are sustainable, that are accessible, but at the same time that are measurable for impact. I am passionate about empowering women so that they can live the best versions of their lives. In our proposal, we recommend different aspects of how we are going to be tackling this main issue of mental health. I want to highlight a few things. Our program will be looking at offering programs that are transgenerational, that are transcultural, and are very transformative in nature, ensuring that they're customer-centric and human-centric. By integrating mental health, physical health, and also access to care, we are going to empower middle-aged girls to have self-confidence and working women to prioritize their health, and lastly, the elderly women to receive the dignity and care that they deserve. We are passionate about this work, and we are excited about the opportunity to partner with you so that we can add value, we can change lives, so that women can live their best lives ever. Thank you very much.
Miss JeJuan Stewart will also be joining us. She has a strong community outreach so that we can have the scalability that we're going to need.
Hello, my name is JeJuan Stewart. I am delighted to be a part of this project, to lend my expertise and my insight and experience to finding solutions and aiding and supporting the efforts of the work that Dr. Edith Davis is endeavoring to do. I've known her for many, many years as a friend, colleague in science and STEM. My background is in chemistry and sociology. I went to undergrad at University of Miami with her. We continued to build our friendship as we grew professionally, and remaining in contact with one another with the endeavors and the work that we do together, supporting the work that I do currently in the Atlanta area, which is where I'm based. I am just always excited to see women coming together to address issues and problems and bringing their unique perspectives and insights to them. Being a part of Dr. Davis's team with this huge endeavor is an honor. I look forward to helping her to scale and supporting the endeavor in regards to our services that I currently am working with and on within my community. Professionally, I was trained as an anesthetist, physician's assistant. After receiving my undergraduate degrees from University of Miami, I went to Emory University and their physician's assistant program in anesthesia. I graduated from there and received my master's, and then from there continued working as an anesthetist for over 25 years. I've recently retired, and now I am in my second breath of wind, doing some things that are both passion projects and projects to make an impact within our community, really committed to building communities, starting with families, and specifically starting with parents. I started the Eagle 7 Consulting Services, and Eagle 7 is a boutique consulting firm which really targets personal and professional leadership training and development for individuals, groups, and organizations. Our goal is to empower all to give, lead, and excel. And we take that very seriously. We empower through servant leadership development. And from our perspective, everyone has the seed of potential to be a leader. It's just a matter of nurturing that seed, providing it with resources, support, nourishment, encouragement, so it can grow. And we believe that it's important for communities to start with their parents first. Parents are the center of strength for any community. And the more that we can align them with tools and resources to help them build their capacity to parent with excellence, as opposed to trying to parent perfectly, because none of us is perfect. It is our intention to equip them and empower them as parents so they can make a difference in themselves first and then in their homes and community and abroad. I believe that taking these skill sets that we build in and work with our parents on through trainings and experiences and workshops, both hybrid as well as in person, can provide a unique perspective and way to engage with those that are a part of our programs and our classes and services. It is my intention to develop with the planning committees and with the team strategies and supports that can address engagement, building social emotional learning skills and tools, helping parents to understand what developmental relationships are and how that is critically important to them building a strong relationship with their children, helping parents also to reconnect to their parenting why so they can understand why they parent the way they do. And if there are gaps or ways that they want to change, giving them the tools and the resources so they can be able to do so. Last but not least, we are looking forward to building a community network of support, even in STEAM and STEM. Because of my background as an anesthetist, I know that it's very, very important for parents and business leaders and organizations to wrap their head around what's coming down the pipeline, especially in our marginalized communities. One of the ways that we are helping to address this is working hand in hand with our partnership with Morehouse School of Medicine's Aim Ahead program. Aim Ahead focuses on AI and machine learning. It has a lot of opportunities for engagement, for building community, but more so for demystifying what it can mean for communities of color and how we can invite parents, community leaders, grassroots organizations to the table to learn more about it. We currently are working on a project that is being launched this year. Looking forward to aligning that project with the initiatives of this grant so we can potentially expand and build it even further and have even more of a reach or more depth. This will include connecting with not just the parents at large in the communities, but also connecting organizations, government agencies, and small business owners to resources that can help them to enhance and begin to scale and make changes and effective changes within their communities as they are designed with that community in mind. I really am excited to be a part of this cutting edge initiative of Dr. Davis's and looking forward to adding value, insight, and support to this initiative. Thank you.
Let's talk about how we are nestled, embedded within our parents' institutions, right? We are in parent institutions. Some of our institutions have been serving the women population for over 100 years. So it is established. What we're going to do as a subset of our parent institution, the total care program is going to look at mental and physical health for women, right? And we are going to look very closely at transgenerational, transcultural, and transformational solutions, because we want long-term, like mental health solutions. We want long-term, physical health solutions that will be carried through generations. So, once again, as far as us being impacting, we are coming out of parent institutions where they have the relationships with the subset population that we're targeting already. In the case of scalability, it goes once again, we have the relationships with the communities, with the cities, with the states, and with the nations. And now we also have the same thing in other countries around the world. We also have some United Nations relationships that we will also tap into for the total care for mental health for women, right? And then, of course, we are looking at the equity of this program, right? And so, as I said earlier, we're not just looking at the marginalized population, we're looking at everyone, right? We're looking at, in case we're historically Black universities is our parent institution, but we're also looking at Hispanic, we're looking at the American Indian, and we're looking at majority institutions. In my case, I am African American female, as you can see, but I went to the University of Miami undergraduate. I went to Stanford University for my first master's. I went to the University of Texas in Austin for my MBA, and I went to Baylor University for my doctorate. And if you haven't noticed, these are predominantly white institutions, right? So we are making sure that we meet the needs of all women. And we are looking at young, middle-aged, and elderly. And of course, feasibility. Because we come out of the parent institutions that have been around for, in some cases, a century, they have learned how to manage, budget, and maximize their resources and be sustainable. One of the words that's popping up in my mind right now is resilient. A resilient program. Does anybody else want to share any thoughts of what I just said?
I think that if you're really talking about resilience, I find that in what I do in mental health, that's something that's very low on the totem pole for women. Doesn't matter, their age is very, very low. And so one of the things that I do is to try to build that up. And first thing is just teaching about what resilience is and how it's okay to be resilient, because that's what keeps you going. So yeah, I think that's definitely a good thing to focus on, because it's really, really needed, especially at this time in the world.
Iran, say anything about resilience or anything else I said? I'm glad you said that, Dr. Fields. In my dissertation, it was a mixed method. I had a quantitative, I used the Solomon 4 design for the quantitative portion of the microspire methodology. But I used grounded theory because I wanted to know why. In my case, I was looking at middle school children, young ladies and young men, why some people survive the same horrendous death of a father or death of a mother or some horrendous circumstance, and they pop back up and there's success, you know. And you see these people out there in the world, these people, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Tyler Perry's, the Mother Teresa's, these people are so interesting. And so in my grounded theory analysis of the student population, I found 4 factors that resilient young people had. And the first thing I saw, that they were tenacious, the T factor. Tenacious meaning you could knock them down like a bouncy ball, but they bounce right back up. So the other factor was the E factor. They were, they had a way about them that had people reaching out to them, and not only did they have, I guess you would say, their fellow classmates, their peer group, but they also had this empathy from teachers and people all around them. So I call that the E factor. So they were able to draw empathy from people. And then the other factor that I saw them was the R factor. They were highly relational in their peer group, relational in their homes and the communities, and very highly relational with their teachers and people that poured into them. And then the last one was the S factor, which was the spirituality. And it wasn't so much that they were spiritual, but that someone in their sphere of influence, a praying grandmother or mother, father, or aunt, or someone was very focused on their spiritual health as well. So those 4 factors I saw in resilient children, resilient people, and that's why they, I think, survive and thrive, even in some of the harshest environments.
Well, one who survived very harsh environments, relational, was very, it was key to me being successful or being a failure. And when I talk about relational, I mean, how am I actually looking at these relationships and what do they bring to the table for me, and understanding the significance of understanding relationships. It's not that you avoid the tough all the time, because you cannot, but you have to understand how to navigate through those waters so that you are successful in not allowing the negative then to take you and send you into a mental spiral, because that's what it will do. Those relationships will introduce you to levels of poverty that you never even knew exist. Those relationships will introduce you to drugs. Those relationships will introduce you to so many things, and peer pressure being one that will drive you to these things. So in order for people who live in poverty, which is where I was raised in a housing project, then we have to make choices. We either choose to go in a different direction in which the poverty is trying to take us, or not. And in order for us to do the and not, then we have to understand about being in relationships with people.
Very good. Yes, it's about choices. And I think what really the mental health portion of it, I have a young 23-year-old daughter, And she went through the COVID program where her high school graduation was pretty much canceled, prom was canceled, but she was off to the college experience, and she ended up in a dorm room with a laptop. So it was not the college experience that most of us who have degrees went through. And of course, she has had some depressions and some issues that she's been working through, right? So, and this is, I would almost say, Dr. Fields, I suspect this is epidemic across the nation, because I know as a professor of science education in the College of Education where I teach, I identify people in every one of my classes that is going through maybe depression or some mental struggle and try to concentrate on being a success and getting the content knowledge that we're trying to give them, and so that they can progress and get their degree and go on and live their lives, right? So yes, this is a very interesting time. Well, if anyone, this will be our closing remarks. So I'm going to let whoever wants to go first, and I will close it out. Anyone wants to have me closing?
So for our total care, there is a pipeline from the very young to the very elderly. There's a mental aspect, there's a physical aspect, there's the relationship aspect, that as each one of us touches those as providers, because we all are certain providers, we do engage the impact. So what is that impact? One, are we really addressing what their mental issue is? The answer is yes. Are we looking at moving this beyond our frame of reference? And the answer is yes. So it is scalable. It is scalable to the different populations that we all touch. Is there a feasibility to this? Oh, most definitely is feasibility to this, because not only are we touching the relationships face forward, we're touching the relationships that they will have with their family members, they will have with the persons they come in contact with. And is this replicatable? Most definitely replicatable, because as I stated earlier in my introduction, I'm looking forward to going to the second phase of moving this just beyond a locale into a community, into a region, because of the mobility, because of the relationships. And the relationships do start with us as providers. If we can have that positive, meaningful, transactional, transformational relationship with everyone we come in contact with, then all of the elements of bringing that person to their most optimal state of living, or their most optimal state of being productive in their mind, that is the key. I believe that is my summation, my aspiration point.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amy.
Amy said it all.
And did a very good job with that. And I think that one of the things that I'm seeing here today, and knowing you, Edith, and just meeting these ladies, is that you are fortunate to have the connections that's needed to do the work that this grant is requiring. I believe that you have the people who, the clients that we will be serving, can trust, because we bring a humility to the table that they can sense and feel and respect. When that happens, that's the first hurdle that we always have to jump over, is because we can't help anyone who does not trust us. And so I believe that you've pulled together a team of people that can go out and really get the work done. So that's cool.
Well, I just want to say that the total care for mental and physical health for women is, we have the parent institutions that have already been very successful in servicing the totality of the populations, but this will give us an opportunity to do the subset, to concentrate our resources and our energy on the female of the women of the population. And this is going to be bring health to the entire community, health to the state, health to the nation, because when you have healthy caregivers, which is primarily women are a large sector of the caregivers of every nation, right? When you got healthy caregivers training future healthy caregivers, it's going to be extremely successful. And I want to use the word profitable, not in the sense of making money, but profitable in the sense of having people fulfill their lives at their optimum. Healthy minds, healthy bodies, healthy lives. Thank you all for joining me today for a brief discussion of our program, Total Care, Mental and Physical Health for Women, where we're going to come up with transgenerational, transcultural, and transformational solutions for mental and physical health.
Hello, my name is Marianne Hernandez. I've had the honor of working with Dr. Edith as a CCO for STEM Global Institute and our nonprofit SGI Scholar Foundation Incorporated since 2014. I was also the chief editor of Dr. Edith's book, How We Really Learn, the Microspiral Method, published in 2015. I'm an entrepreneurial by nature. At 20, I created a children's entertainment business. I was a puppeteer, singer-songwriter, and toured New England, performing in schools and festivals for 10 years. The messages I created for my shows were entertaining and educational. I'm a lifelong learner, and after age 55, I started wanting to go back to college, and so I earned my associates in communications at the University of Phoenix, and 10 years later, I'm in my last semester now, earning my bachelor's in psychology at the Southern New Hampshire University. Prior to joining Dr. Edith Davis, I was a development director for Stubbs Educational Foundation in Tallahassee, Florida, raising funds for music scholarships for children. I'm a founder and CEO of Impact Business Development, as well as a published author and a grant writer. I look forward to continuing to contribute to the work of Total Care for Women, which implements a multifaceted approach that includes prevention, support, and accessibility, which can help alleviate many of the challenges that women face in both the mental and physical realm. And whether through caregiving or leadership, economic contributions, education, or advocating for social change, women's roles have far-reaching impacts on the development and well-being of individuals, families, communities, and entire nations. Empowering and supporting women benefits everyone, creating a more just, equitable, and prosperous world for all of us. I'm proud to be part of a dynamic, world-changing team seeking to change women's lives for the betterment of all.